Montenegro, the Black Mountains' hidden kingdom. In the heart of the Balkans, pressed between jagged mountains and the deep blue of the Adriatic, lies one of Europe's smallest and youngest nations, Montenegro. On the surface, it seems quiet, even sleepy, a place where time slows down. Yet behind that calm exterior lies a country forged in battles, shaped by empires, and blessed with some of the most breathtaking landscapes on the continent. Montenegro, whose name in Venetian Italian means Black Mountain, became independent only in 2006. That makes it one of the newest countries in Europe, but don't let its age fool you, this land has been inhabited, contested, and celebrated for thousands of years. Ancient Illyrians, Romans, Byzantines, Venetians, Ottomans, and Slavs all left their mark. What emerged is a small but resilient nation that has learned the art of survival while keeping its own unique identity. Geography, a land of extremes. Over 80% of Montenegro is mountainous, part of the dramatic Dinaric Alps. The terrain rises and falls like a stone ocean, creating natural fortresses and hidden valleys. The country's highest peak, Zla Kalata, towers at 2,534 meters on the border with Albania. Not far from it flows the Tara River, carving a canyon nearly 1,300 meters deep, the deepest in Europe and the second deepest in the world after the Grand Canyon. Today, its turquoise waters draw rafters from around the globe, but for centuries, the gorge was a barrier that protected isolated highland communities. In the south, the land opens into the Zeta Plain, Montenegro's rare stretch of fertile lowland where the modern capital Podgorica sits. Here lies Lake Skadar, the largest lake in the Balkans, shared with Albania. This shimmering expanse of water is both a sanctuary for wildlife, pelicans, cormorants, and over 280 species of birds, and a cultural cradle, ringed with Orthodox monasteries, Ottoman fortresses, and villages where fishermen still use ancient wooden boats called cun. The coast, by contrast, is Montenegro's window to the world. Though only 295 kilometers long, it is one of Europe's most stunning shorelines. The Bay of Kotor, often compared to a fjord, winds inland through narrow straits, surrounded by mountains that plunge straight into the sea. Medieval towns like Kotor and Perest cling to the water's edge, their stone walls and bell towers recalling Venetian centuries. Further south, Budva has become a tourism magnet with sandy beaches and vibrant nightlife, while Sveti Stefan, a former fishing village turned luxury resort, lures celebrities to its private islet. Near Ulcinj, the southernmost city, beaches stretch for kilometers, including the 12-kilometer-long Velika Plaza, one of the longest on the Adriatic. Flamingos sometimes wander the lagoons nearby, surprising visitors who expect them only in Africa. History, from kingdoms to independence. Montenegro's story is one of resilience. The ancient Illyrians once lived here before Rome absorbed the region. With the empire's collapse, Slavic tribes settled the land, and by the 9th century, a small kingdom known as Duklja had formed. Its rulers built monasteries, minted coins, and even attempted bold campaigns against Constantinople. In later centuries, the name Zeta replaced Duklja, and eventually, Montenegro emerged as a distinct entity. From the 15th century onward, Ottoman power pressed hard into the Balkans, but Montenegro's rugged mountains gave its people a unique advantage. While much of the region fell under Ottoman rule, Montenegrin clans, led by warrior bishops called Vladikas, resisted for centuries. Figures like Petar I Petrovich Njagos and his successor, the philosopher-poet Petar II, became national heroes, rallying their people through both war and culture. By the late 19th century, Montenegro gained international recognition at the Congress of Berlin in 1878. King Nikola I expanded its borders and modernized the state, though independence remained fragile. The 20th century brought turbulence. Montenegro joined the new kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes after World War I, was occupied during World War II, and later became one of 6 republics within socialist Yugoslavia. When Yugoslavia fractured in the 1990s, Montenegro initially stayed tied to Serbia. But in 2006, through a referendum, the Montenegrins finally chose full sovereignty. Culture and people. With only about 630,000 citizens, Montenegro is the least populated Balkan state, yet it is incredibly diverse. Around 45% identify as Montenegrins, 29% as Serbs, and others as Bosniaks, Albanians, or Croats. This mix of identities creates a society where multiple religions and languages intersect. The dominant faith is Eastern Orthodoxy, but Islam accounts for about one-fifth of the population, especially in the north and along the Albanian border. Catholic communities remain in coastal towns, continuing a long Venetian legacy. The Montenegrin language, officially recognized, is nearly identical to Serbian, Croatian, and Bosnian, but it can be written in both Cyrillic and Latin scripts. Everyday life reflects this cultural blend. Italian words slip into conversation on the coast, Ottoman influences appear in music and food, and Orthodox traditions dominate holidays and family rituals. Montenegrins are known for their humor and laid-back spirit. They even host a yearly Lazy Olympics in the town of Bresna, where participants compete to see who can lie down the longest. Yet behind the jokes lies a heritage of defiance and pride. This is a nation that never fully surrendered, even when surrounded by empires. Economy and modern life. Montenegro is not a land of vast farms or heavy industries. Instead, its strength lies in tourism, services, and foreign investment. Since adopting the euro as its currency, the country has attracted significant international interest, particularly in real estate along its coast. Russian, British, and Middle Eastern investors have turned parts of Tivat and Budva into hubs for luxury yachts and seaside villas. The Porto Montenegro Marina in Tivat, once a Yugoslav naval base, now welcomes some of the world's largest yachts. Agriculture still exists, especially vineyards, olive groves, and small-scale farming in the valleys. Montenegrin wines, particularly from the Plantes estate near Podgorica, are gaining global recognition, while Njeguški Pršut, a smoked ham from the mountain village of Njeguši, is a culinary symbol. Traditional dishes like kakamak, a potato and cheese mash, rastan, stewed greens, and hearty stews remain staples, often washed down with homemade rakića. Sports are another source of national pride. Montenegro excels in water polo, where its men's team ranks among the world's best. Handball, especially women's teams, has also brought international recognition. Despite its small size, the country's athletes often punch above their weight on the global stage. A modern identity. Montenegro today balances tradition with modernity. Its monasteries, like Ostrog, dramatically built into a cliffside, attract pilgrims and tourists alike. At the same time, its coastal towns are alive with festivals, music, and international visitors. Podgorica, though not the most picturesque capital, is rapidly modernizing, blending Soviet-era blocks with sleek glass buildings, bridges, and nightlife. Internationally, Montenegro seeks connection. It is a candidate for European Union membership, has joined NATO despite tensions with Russia, and continues to deepen ties with its Balkan neighbors. Serbia remains its closest partner, two eyes in one head, as a local saying goes, but relations with Croatia, Bosnia, and Albania are also vital. Italy remains a cultural cousin across the Adriatic, with centuries of Venetian influence still visible in architecture and art. The spirit of Montenegro. What makes Montenegro special is not just its scenery or history, but its pace. This is a land where you can wander through olive groves that have stood for 2,000 years, where medieval bells echo across mountain valleys, where fishermen still mend their nets by hand. At the same time, you can ski in the morning on the slopes of Durmitor and swim in the Adriatic by afternoon. Montenegro is a paradox, fiercely proud yet easygoing, small yet vast in spirit, a crossroads of cultures yet uniquely itself. It is a country that has endured empires and wars, only to emerge with a smile, a glass of rakića, and an open invitation: come, rest, and enjoy the beauty of the Black Mountain. Here, history lingers in stone fortresses, nature thrives in wild canyons and forests, and life flows at its own unhurried rhythm. Montenegro is not just Europe's youngest nation, it is one of its most enchanting secrets, waiting for the world to slow down enough to notice.